and Facebook, and D Live, and YouTube. Nice. And of course, Twitch should be connecting shortly. And all of you guys who've been listening on the audio feed, the live audio feed, which is posted on jesseleepeterson.com/show. Well, if you click on the listen button, and it'll take you to that page. And the hakereport.com/show. You've been listening for some time. Or also on the TalkStream Live app or talkstreamlive.com. What's up, everybody? You can join. The phone number is 888-775-3773, 9:02 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And it is Friday, August 21st, 2020. And I have an announcement and other things. I'm going to be taking your calls. And I have quite a show for you. Lots of stuff to get to, or possibly get to. But in the meantime, enjoy this beautiful intro song from the Hake Report.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, weren't those some great photo selections from Joel Friday here? Nice. Appreciate that, Joel Friday. Because I gave him a ton of photographs. Sometimes I give him just like 4, and then sometimes I give him 40. And he's the one who does all of the screen work. It's not a one-man show. I'm not Vincent James or Nick J. Fuentes or anybody like that who just does everything himself. I got a crew. I got the Black Tech crew. Nice. And I want to cover some topics including, but not limited to, Janet Napolitano. Not to be confused with Janet Reno. I looked into her. I mentioned her earlier this week, and I received a text from a friend of mine who said something about her that may not be true. Or it might be true, but this woman may be keeping it a secret, and I respect that. That's kind of old school. She's an evil woman, but she comes off as kind of nice, which that's how they get their evil done, right? By being nice. And I have stuff about Chrissy Legend and her husband, John Teigan. Is it pronounced Teigan or Teigan? Teigan. I call her Chrissy Legend because she's in the tradition of Jesse Lee Peterson. Because what's her name? Beyonce is husband or wife of Jay-Z, and Chrissy Legend is husband of John Legend. And they both, like many, are fleeing Los Angeles. Supposedly, I don't know if they gave a reason, but she's pregnant with a third child. I think their oldest is a daughter. And I want to talk about Uber and Lyft, an update on Uber and Lyft. You heard from a Lyft driver yesterday who called into the Hake Report towards a little bit closer to the end of the show, from Daniel from Los Angeles. A great call. He pointed out it's liberals not getting along with liberals because Uber and Lyft are far left liberals. I told you recently about seeing a dumb Black Lives Matter supporting email from Lyft. So ridiculous. Lots of businesses are making cuts too because of this, the COVID-related shutdowns. The COVID excuse. It's the excuse to shut things down. NFL is being weak, and they're pretending that Trump is going to be questioning the results when in reality Trump, I think, is going to win the election. And then they're going to be questioning the results just like they did last time. So ridiculous. All kinds of different things. Bannon's arrest, if you want to talk about that a little bit. I touched on that on Hake News. Lyft only uses Goodyear tires now, says Pete's Meats. Yeah, because Goodyear, more like bad year, supports Black Lives Matter and LGBTQIA pride stuff, which is supposedly an equity and racial justice issues, right? They're supposedly equity. Equity means equality, which is an anti-American word. Because that's not what was meant when the founders wrote in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal. It's not what they meant. They didn't mean to special treatment for the degenerate people and immoral people. It's ridiculous. Dogs are replacing babies. And by the way, the European countries, including Germany, are getting more and more just oppressive. They don't have freedom of speech. They don't have the right to carry guns and own guns. Well, I don't know which countries do, right? Because I don't really keep up with that stuff. But the People's Republic of California doesn't. But there's this weird law about dogs that some female politician wants to bring in Germany that I just happened to see in the female run outlet, The Skim. I'm going to be getting to your calls. And by the way, I have an announcement for Sunday. On Sunday morning, you know how I quit the Hake Report on Sunday mornings, right? And I've been promoting Samuel from Sweden's show. Samuel Forsberg. No longer Freiholtz. No longer Freiholtz. Now it's Forsberg, because he changed his name from the name that his mother forced on him after the divorce back to his father's surname. Right on. And his stream is called The Cross Stream, and it fills in the vacancy left when I quit doing the Hake Report on Sunday mornings. Everybody's happy around here that I do that. But I'm going to be doing an interview there. I'm going to be interviewed by Samuel from Sweden this Sunday, August 23rd, 2020, 9 a.m. my time. I think it's 6 p.m. Swedish time, or he called it Scandinavian time. The Cross Stream is the name of the show. Samuel Forsberg is the name of the YouTube channel. Check that out. He's also on Gab, at the Cross Stream on Gab, and Samuel from Sweden on BitChute, BITCHUTE, BitChute.com/Samuel from Sweden, all one word. I think that's how you find that. Cool, huh? And by the way, some exciting stuff is happening today. It is Friday. I just have to, of course, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson, an hour after Samuel from Sweden's show ends at 11 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time on Sunday, right? But today, it's Friday, and we usually have The Fallen State premiering on Friday, and we are supposed to have that. Let me just check the Fallen State YouTube channel. YouTube.com/TheFallenStateTV. If you're in a browser, right? If you're in the app, just search The Fallen State Jesse Lee Peterson. And yes, the premiere is scheduled for less than 3 hours from now. Psychiatrist talks psych meds, childhood trauma, BLM/Antifa rioting. Episode number 186. Right on. That's a Jesse Lee Peterson interview. It's going to be cool. The interview actually was recorded back in July during White History Month. Very nice. So look forward to that. And a fan favorite. What's up, Daniel, over on Facebook? Nice to see you. A fan favorite, JLP Plays. Hopefully Jesse is not late. I remember last week, if you guys tuned in, Nick, the producer, and Joel Friday here, weren't you guys playing for like 40 minutes before Jesse Lee Peterson actually came in and started playing? An hour? Oh, man. I was like, oh, where's Jesse? But it's going to be fun, hopefully. Actually, it always is fun. So, right on. You know what? I gotta cover this for you guys. I know it may seem a little funny that I start off with this, because it's like It's an old lady. It is Men's History Month, and this is kind of old news, but I have to just share it with you. I looked into Janet Napolitano, meaning I read her Wikipedia page, or at least chunks of it, right? Wikipedia is not necessarily to be trusted, but they do have interesting facts, right? They're far left, they're run by the far left, just like pretty much everything else in the world. Anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-American, stuff like that. But sometimes they have interesting factual information. Evil woman, like I said, but comes off as nice. I watched part of an interview with her, and there was a photograph that Joelle Friday showed at the beginning of the intro show where she's standing next to a woman who is looking kind of affectionately at her, but it's nothing like what you might be thinking. They're both, I'm assuming, straight women. But this was after an interview from Santa Fe PBS. PBS is Public Broadcasting Service. This lady from Santa Fe, New Mexico, interviewed Janet Napolitano, who spent a good amount of time in Arizona from childhood throughout. She was a governor of Arizona, the third female governor of Arizona. This is Janet Napolitano, short-haired, I would dare say feminist. And you see she's standing before the U.S. Department of Homeland Security because she was secretary under Barack Hussein Obama, starting with his presidency in 2009. That's when he took office. Barack Hussein Obama, the first and worst black president, right? That we know of. We've heard about other black presidents. The first one was before George Washington. I heard, but I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. But I referenced her as being some part of behind some report that I read in the past, but I may have been confusing her with Janet Reno. Do you have that picture that says not, and then it says Janet Reno? At the very bottom, probably, of that folder. Who was Bill Clinton's attorney general in the early 90s through 2001. Janet Reno, another short-haired lady who also I don't think she ever married or ever had children, this lady. Just a working female. Liberal, I'm thinking. I can't repeat what Joelle Friday. It's not bad what Joelle Friday wrote, because Joelle is a Christian. But I don't want to repeat this smearing of, I don't want to pile on, By the way, I'm wearing a disgusting shirt. Disgusting. And some of you guys don't like the color. This is Tahiti blue. This is from the Hake Report Teespring store, thehakereport.com, and then in the menu, it says Teespring is in the menu. And then in the back, it says shameful, right? You see it? Disgusting, shameful. Shout out to Mark, my friend and yours, Mark, for the design idea. And it comes in normal colors too. I just got the Tahiti blue because it looked kind of striking on the screen. And I didn't really give you a good look at the back, but it says shameful on the back. Anyways, back to Janet Napolitano. According to Wikipedia, I'm just like to look into these people's backgrounds. She was an Obama person. She was president of the UC system, University of California system, and she pushed a whole lot of evil, nasty stuff. I watched an interview with her, and she was quite likable and stuff, but that's how evil people do their work, by being likable. Her father was of Italian ancestry, hence Napolitano, right? And her mother had German and Austrian ancestry. Napolitano is a Methodist, in other words, fake Christian. No offense to any Methodists out there who might be real Christians. I don't know. But Hillary Clinton, I believe, is a Methodist too, right? She was the eldest, Janet Napolitano. You can just generally show any of those pictures or all, whatever, as I give you these facts. She was the eldest of 3 children, and she looks like she would be a an older sister, right? Younger brother and sister. She was married in Pittsburgh, PA, Pennsylvania, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she was a nerd. She was like valedictorian of her. No offense to the people who were valedictorians. I worked hard not to be a valedictorian. Well, I didn't. I actually worked purposely not to be a valedictorian. My older siblings, all of them except for my oldest brother, were valedictorians. And my younger brother might have been too, but by that time they were making everybody valedictorians who was above 4.5 GPA, which is not even supposed to be possible. Anyways, grade inflation, am I right? She was governor of Arizona, the first elected female governor of Arizona, the third female governor of Arizona. The prior two were secretary of state, and then they became governors somehow. But she spoke at the Democrat conventions many times. She campaigned for Hillary in 2016, of course. Short-haired lady. I'll try to describe her a little bit for the people who are listening on audio, on the live audio feed or audio podcast. You can podcast my show. She was 1991. This lady was an attorney for the disgusting liar Anita Hill, the black female accuser of the great and only great. Am I being uncharitable by calling Clarence Thomas the only decent justice of the Supreme Court? Anita Hill, she was an attorney. This Janet Napolitano was an attorney working, for some woman with some other woman as an attorney for Anita Hill, who is now, she's still like a saint in the left. A saint for Satan, right? 2002, she was elected the third female governor of Arizona, first to succeed another female governor, by the way. After she left in 2009, I guess, which was after being appointed by Obama, I think, Jan Brewer came in, and Jan Brewer was a pretty decent. There's Anita Hill. Ugh. That's not what she looked like when she was accusing Clarence Thomas. She was a pretty young lady, kind of accusing, but was not very ladylike in accusing the great justice when he was a judge, Clarence Thomas, before he was confirmed to the Supreme Court. That's one good thing that George Bush did as president. The daddy who has now died, George H.W. Bush, was appoint Clarence Thomas to be a Supreme Court justice. And I don't know if it was, because he was black, because, these rhinos, and Bush was indeed a rhino. That's how she looked back in the day. Bush was a rhino. They did think in terms of this shallow stuff, like the left thinks, in terms of, we need minorities. We need to act like we're progressive or something like dumb like that. But, Clarence Thomas seems solid. That's Governor Jan Brewer pointing her finger at Barack Obama. She was the one who replaced Janet Napolitano after Janet Napolitano went to work for Obama's DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And she put her finger in Obama's face. I don't know if it was... She was pretty well liked by the conservatives in Arizona. And I think she was part of the immigration crackdown against illegal aliens. She and Sheriff Joe Arpaio was excellent. Just a little history, But in 2005, back to Janet Napolitano, the disgusting Time magazine named her one of the 5 best governors in the United States. Not Jane Brewer or whatever her name was, but Janet Napolitano, the liberal. Look at this. Jane Brewer liked President Trump before he was elected, too. She seemed like a decent lady. If you got to have a female governor, have Jane Brewer. Is it Jane Brewer? Yeah. Jan Brewer. Oh, yeah. There was some stuff I didn't really like, but anyways. Back to Janet Napolitano. She was also trying to take over your children. she negotiated the creation of voluntary full-day kindergarten in Arizona as so-called governor. And, Arizona having 3 female governors by 2002. That tells you about Arizona. They also have Jeff Flake and what was that rhino guy who died? John McCain. Arizona has been kind of on a long decline, I dare say. But full day kindergarten, that seems like, liberals in government and these exploitative females like her trying to take over your children and encourage mothers and fathers to both be working so that the government schools can take care of your children and indoctrinate them all day. They start out as, it's just voluntary. It's gross. And she was, by the way, one maybe good thing about her was she was the first to call the National Guard at the border. She was governor of Arizona, declared a state emergency about border security when she was in office. The Democrats pretended to care about immigration. And so, yes, she did pretend. But as Secretary of State, Obama put her as head of Secretary of State. I think she was like the 4th head of not Secretary of State. Sorry about that. Secretary of Homeland Security, which is what George W. Bush instituted after 9/11. Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security. And they haven't really kept us safe, I don't think. Maybe Bush did a little bit better job than Obama, a little bit, nominally. But she was politically correct. She preferred to talk about man-caused disasters more than terrorism because she wanted to move away from the politics of fear. Remember that lines like that for anybody who's older than a Zoomer? Maybe if you were a Zoomer, you may even remember this type of stuff because, George W. Bush, it could be said, exploited the fear of terrorism to bring about. A lot of you guys criticized the Patriot Act, and probably rightly so. But she was not any less of a control freak. So it's ridiculous. This man-caused disasters sounds reminiscent of this man-caused climate change scare stuff that the Democrats are still pushing. In 2009, in the flu pandemic, this is kind of interesting and topical to today. Rather than closing businesses, she pushed, as Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, pushed to educate people on prevention. So they didn't close schools or businesses for the 2009, I think that was the H1N1 flu pandemic under Obama. It killed 12,000 people. It wasn't as hyped or as so-called deadly, and everybody in the mainstream media loved Obama and were scared to criticize him. And, they liked the fact that he was a socialist like them. And so they didn't put any blame on him with this flu pandemic stuff. And she did not close businesses. That's what we should go back to, by the way. In 2012, when she was the head of the DHS, right? This man, James Hayes Jr., filed a lawsuit for anti-male discrimination. I told you this lady looks like she might be kind of mean. She had this Dora Shriro and Suzanne Barr were named in this discrimination lawsuit. Basically they favored the women and friends maybe and discriminated against the males in the government. And most of the males are kind of liberals anyways. But just an interesting thing, she got sued, or she maybe not personally, but she was a long-term, think of this. This is the fox guarding the hen house. She was a long-term advocate for comprehensive immigration reform. Remember that buzzword, which is basically amnesty. Amnesty. Starting with her time as governor of Arizona, which suffers greatly from illegal immigration, right? In 2012, she was behind DACA, guys. DACA, the Dreamers, the illegal aliens who came here supposedly before age 16 or by age 16 and now they're my age or maybe a little bit younger. She used, quote unquote, prosecutorial discretion. In other words, she decided not to prosecute criminals who came here illegally just because they were children and they didn't know anything. They didn't know life in their country of citizenship, right? That's the pretense. Yes, they did. But they were called to protect so-called dreamers from being deported. So remember when Obama, well, some of you guys remember it. Obama did this executive order to push DACA. She was like one of the so-called architects of it. And as UC president, now I hear that she's chancellor of the UC schools. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she's gone to something else. I forget what. But in 2013, she left the DHS. She was replaced by that mixed black guy, Jay Johnson, a male under Obama as head of Homeland Security. But she left the DHS to be president of the UC system. Among her first acts as president, she put more support for undocumented students. And that is Wikipedia's term for it, which doesn't sound like an accurate term. How can a student be undocumented? A student is well documented. They mean illegal alien students. She wanted more support for them. Sick woman. She expanded efforts to, quote unquote, diversify the ranks of UC graduate students and postdoctoral researchers. She did a letter in 2014. Remember this stuff? This scaremongering stuff? A letter prohibiting sexual violence and harassment at the UC schools, University of California schools. And she established a Title IX office, which is you can't discriminate against women or whatever. So she was pushing this. Remember all this drama about rape on campuses? And really it was like men and women having sex, and sometimes the men would have sex with the women in a way the women didn't want or whatever. And they would carry mattresses and cry rape and stuff like that. And it smeared a whole lot of men. Sometimes the women would throw themselves on the men, and then their roommates would accuse the man of having raped. I say man loosely, right? But it's the college males. They're promoting sex out of wedlock, and then they're punishing the men for it. In 2016, as I told you, she campaigned for Hillary. 2017, she established, this is so phony, the National Center for Free Speech and Civic Engagement, chaired by her. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she's really for free speech. I doubt it. She, by the way, she and the UC system, she's a former DHS secretary, remember, and she was a founder of DACA. She sued the federal government under President Trump for Trump's trying to end DACA. It's ridiculous. So Trump can't deport illegals. And, you know, judges sided with the likes of her and the ACLU who hate America. Just to quell any rumors, right? Let's not spread rumors. Back in 2002, this flyer, vote gay flyers, were put next to her campaign signs, but I don't think she wanted that. She said back then that she is straight. She is a straight single workaholic. She never married and had kids, but people would speculate about her. And so out of decency, let's not speculate, right? Respect the people who have, for whatever reason, maybe it's just political power, because back in her time, you know, in the height of her career, it was not as smiled upon to be homosexual, I guess. But respect that she says that she's not, right? Don't be like, oh, she is a lesbian. Don't profile based on her appearances and short hair and attack on men, because a lot of so-called straight females hate men too, right? Anyways, I just had to share that with you. I'm going to get to more stuff, but let me read some super chats and get to your calls. Noah's Ark, Kansas says, Happy Men's History Month, and gave us a couple of diamonds. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's cool. Thank you to Dark Side of the Bear What hosting the Hake Report. Nice. Evgeny Crosby 2020 says, Obama went to the island with Sleepy Joe Biden. Which island are you referring to? Hawaii? Epstein Island? I don't know. Did Joe Biden, was he accused of going over there too? I don't know. Interesting information. And shout out to Hot Computer Smell for the multiple super chats on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. As you know, I cannot accept super chats on my YouTube channel right now. So you can mosey on over to the streamlabs.com/The Hake Report /V2 if you want to make sure that the video is playing. But she said, question for Joelle. Have you heard about the controversy around Netflix's new film, Cuties? It's about a cheerleading team composed of young girls in scantily clad uniforms aimed to break through Muslim traditions, I think.
Yes, I definitely heard about the show Cuties. Or is it a movie or is it a show?
I don't know. It's a Netflix something.
Yeah. I heard about it, but not surprised because all they're doing is just now they're broadcasting it to the world when they were already doing it for the past years anyway. So
yeah,
not a surprise.
Yeah, I first learned about it on Twitter. There are a lot of people, conservatives, tweeting about it, including Cernovich, who's a center-left journalist. I like the guy. He pointed out that according to the trailer for this movie or whatever it is from Netflix, Cuties, about an 11-year-old girl and maybe other fellow 11-year-old girls twerking and stuff and exploring their femininity, the Muslim mother beats the girl. And so he's talking about how it's anti-Muslim.
I didn't go as far as to see the trailer, but
right, I know. I seeing the poster, it's hard enough to look at.
Yeah,
I thought about putting censorship squares around around if I were to share the poster.
No, what's crazy is that they're getting younger and younger the more that they're getting sexualized.
Right.
So people think that these 11, 10-year-olds are innocent. I teach 11, 10-year-olds. They're not as innocent, especially because they openly talk about things, not knowing that you're right there or they don't care.
Yeah.
They're not as like what they used to be.
It's, what a shame, right?
Yeah.
Hot Computer Smell gave another super chat saying, undocumented? What a bigot. It is now persons of undocumented citizenship. Yeah, somebody calls them undocumented citizens now. Even though they have nothing to do with being citizens. They have no loyalty to America. It's crazy. But yeah, how they change the language and subvert your understanding of the world. Let me quickly get to some calls. You guys have been on hold for some time now. Sandra is in Boston, Massachusetts. Sandra, how are you? Thanks for holding.
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. But no woman is good.
My call.
The Bible says no woman is good. It's in the Bible. But you're welcome.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
The question, did you want to know the question again that I was asking?
Yeah, what's your question?
My question was, I've been asking this for so long, and I've been saying it to my husband and our son, and I'm like, I still can't wrap my head around it that they keep saying, and this is even like Republicans, I don't know, I don't want to say all. What does Jesse say? Not all, but most.
All right.
It seems like they're saying Obama is the first African-American president or black president, but they're excluding like that he's half white.
Right.
So they're excluding and he's calling himself a Christian, but he's excluding his white mom that's a Christian, and he's saying he's black like his dad who's a Muslim, and he's clearly just calling out, oh, I like Christians here and there, but he's clearly in favor of Muslims.
You know, his dad was a Muslim turned atheist, actually, according to what I saw on Dinesh D'Souza's movie, 2016, Obama's America. I think he turned atheist because he was like a socialist, and socialism is an atheist concept. But actually, Islam, too, according to the great Bill Lockwood, is socialism, communism in religious garb, cloaked in religious garb. That's what Islam is, according to him. And when you look at the principles of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But interesting. Yeah, and you know what? His mother, too, rejected her Americanness and her white people. She was like, these are not my people, unless I'm misunderstanding her. But there was a quote in his book that he reads. You know, he has an audio book, right?
Yeah.
Maybe two. And it's recorded and put out also in the Dinesh D'Souza's movie, 2016, which I really liked that movie. He's, you know...
trying to think if
she remarried to this other Muslim guy who was a Indonesian or something. And the Indonesian guy was more of a businessman, a capitalist, and took her around like Americans or whites, but she didn't like to be around them. And he's like, why not? These are your people. And she's like, these are not my people. So it sounded like she was kind of a nasty woman.
Either, right?
What's that?
Yeah. My son said that he heard that, when we hear, like, she's white and she's a Christian, he said, or a Catholic, I don't know, they're very similar anyway, I think, with Catholics and Christians, but I mean, not exactly, but you know what I mean, with the Bible and everything. But my son said he had heard that she wasn't really, like, when you say Christian, not a nice person.
Right,
so
yeah.
Just because you call yourself a Christian doesn't mean you're a nice person. According
to the Bible, you're not supposed to be, like, unequally yoked, right? This is the line in the Bible. Basically, it's advising that you should not marry, quote-unquote, unbelievers. And she was no real Christian. I mean, she married Muslims, right?
Well, that's my other thing I have for you, too. If you don't, it kind of ties into it, because I don't want to hold you guys up. But the whole Muslim thing, like, I don't want to hate anybody, and I don't hate anybody, even people that have hurt me. I really don't. I honestly don't. I might get sad by it, but I don't hate them. Like, I think they need more prayers because they've hurt me. And if they've done it in a way that I've actually went to them to say, like, try to make amends, and they still don't want nothing to do with me, then I'm like, okay, well, then I did all I can do.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a hater or anything like that at all. I might not like what someone does or did or whatever, but I don't hate them. But it's the one thing that I can't understand is the Muslim thing with the Quran. Because in the Quran, if you're praying to that, you're coming here to get away from all that, like, crazy wickedness in the Quran. And in the Quran it clearly states that, anyone that doesn't think like you pray for them to be dead, to kill them.
I don't know if it's in the Quran, because there's like 3 or 4 different stuff that they're into. And I don't really know details about their...
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know much details about their so-called religion. Like, true religion is different from what...
Yeah, like, I'm confused.
From what most even Christians have.
I had someone say to me on Facebook that the Quran was just like the Christians, and
no,
like,
they're lying. They're lying.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but
I
you
said,
shouldn't.
I don't know about that, and I'm not hating them, but it's just
You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't qualify that you're not hating and stuff like that. And you don't.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I'm making myself feel like I'm guilty, and that's what I feel like people make you like feel like, and I'm not like.
But
if you're say it again and again, like, to justify it now. Like,
but Sandra, if you're getting hurt by people and feeling sorry for them, what difference is that from hating them? Because you're just saying you're not hating them and trying to feel better about them, but that's not a solution to hatred. That's not a real solution to hatred. That's just escaping. That's just escaping kind of negative feelings that are unpleasant.
I might get sad and I might get dramatic. If I'm like really emotional about something.
I think that's the same thing.
I don't like hate anybody.
I think that's the same thing.
It is?
Yeah, I think that's so. a female-minded way to cope with hating.
Okay, well,
You know what I mean?
explain to me
Because let me explain.
To
Well, I mean, I don't know what to do about it. Just you pray or something.
Yes, I do.
Call Jesse Lee Peterson for counseling. But you should also pray, and the point is, first of all, don't deny that you hate, because the only thing that you're doing, it sounds like, is running away from hating. Hating is like a nasty feeling. Some people like it, right? And but you're a Christian. You're trained that it's bad to hate and stuff like that. So you want to just make the choice not to hate, but it's not something that you just force out of yourself, like in that way, by just feeling sorry for people, because it's the same thing. You're not led by being logical and really a woman of God.
No, you're right, because it's not good to feel sorry for yourself either. And I've done that to myself. I've like guilted myself.
Yeah.
Felt sorry for myself. And it's like, and then I know, like, it makes sense because, like, on Facebook, there's these different Christian groups if you want to be a part of.
The other thing is, maybe, Sandra?
They said what Jesse said, that if it's thoughts getting in your head, like the devil's trying to take you, like, in a bad place.
Right. And
so get out of your own head.
Yeah, and you don't need to necessarily pay so much attention to the politics and this stuff going on in the world. You know what I mean? Because people get into that.
Get more intense.
Yeah, you get into that and you don't look at yourself.
Exactly.
And especially,
no, you're right.
and especially like women, it's not fitting for women to be worrying their pretty little heads about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Pretty little heads, even though I'm 52. You can be still looking okay, though, I think, at 52, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody has to be raggedy at 52.
But I appreciate the questions.
Yeah, I just, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to, like, have to try to, like you said, say, oh, I don't hate, because I don't want to think, like, I don't wish, like, Muslims dead if they do pray that. I just don't get how there's mosques here, and they're trying to get away from, like, the badness over there, but they come here and they want to, like, what's the Muslim woman in office that married her brother? Like,
Ilhan Omar, allegedly, right? Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty much proven. But that's
maybe.
not, like, none of my business. It's just they're leaving there to come here and then
Sandra, because evil likes to spread. Evil likes to spread itself around. When you're mad, you like to make other people mad. Well, that's the best. That's the first thing that people go to when somebody makes them mad, so-called. They try to make the other person mad back.
Yeah.
And same thing. It's not logical what evil does always. It's
No, it's not.
It's just spreading evil.
And you know what? People can sort of push my buttons easy because I'm not like a drama queen because, like, I get along better with men.
Right.
So I'm drama, but I'm not to the extent that I I'm like no way near a feminist. I'm like total opposite. But at the same time, I'm not like, I have feminine qualities. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm not dramatic because I am.
Yeah.
But I grew up with like 4 older sisters, and I'm the youngest. And I was like, oh boy, please God, I love a girl or a boy, but I want a boy. Just
all
because
right.
Being in a household of all those girls.
So you had a son?
I don't know. I'm too much drama for myself, so I'm like, please.
So did you have a son?
I have a son.
Nice.
And he's not a beta male. And, it's funny because he calls, he's 19, and I know Joel is, young and you're young. You're Nick, right?
No, I'm James.
James, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, you guys have similar voices,
I'm flattered.
Yeah, you have similar voices.
Right. Especially when Nick lowers the pitch on it in the UFO video.
Oh, does he do that?
In the UFO video? Yeah, he lowered his voice. It was funny.
See, I got to start watching those. I got to watch more videos. I've just been watching more and more of you guys the last couple of weeks.
Well, catch the beginning of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. It was funny.
Yeah, now how do you get on there for the live one? Because I heard you saying it.
Okay. Just go to jesseleepeterson.com/show, and there are ways to watch and listen live.
Oh, good, because I've been wanting to do that instead of just calling in. I
Right.
also want to hear after the call.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to do it.
I didn't
One
realize.
More thing, though, I really like that my son is 19, and that worries me too. But I know I got to get out of my own head.
Right.
Just say my prayers and just not get overly emotional. But my son.
I gotta
is
run,
like,
Sandra.
He doesn't want a thought,
He
so to
doesn't.
speak.
Oh, okay.
thought.
Right on. Good for him. Should walk
But
on
how
it
do you
before I
find
did.
one that's not these days?
Sandra, I gotta run though. I gotta run. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Man. The MGTOW Misfit says she's totally opposite of the feminists. So is she out on the street raising hell and waving signs for fathers to get their rights back and stop women being allowed to destroy them in divorce courts? I bet she might do that. I don't know if she does it, but she wouldn't be against doing that, I wouldn't think. Anyways, I gotta get to Earl in Michigan. He's been on hold forever. And Samuel and Robert, hang tight, guys, and the rest of your callers. But my second favorite caller is on the line. Earl in Michigan, how are you doing?
Hola.
Hey.
Buenos dias.
Bonus deers.
Did you wake up this morning saluting your Führer? Just leave your
Not exactly, but I did say good morning.
Hey,
I almost asked him
But,
to do that again, but no.
Before I start, I'd like to address Richard of Virginia. He made a comment about Brandon Tatum.
Okay.
His comment on Breonna Taylor.
Right.
And he also, Brandon Tatum also has made comments on Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes.
And I suggest that he Google Pat Tito, a lawyer from that practices law in Georgia, who just eviscerates Brandon Taylor point by point, how he's wrong, how he doesn't know the law, and so forth. So he's putting out stuff he knows nothing about, but he claims to be so knowledgeable.
What's the lawyer's first name? The last name is Patillo? Patillo?
First name is Robert.
Robert Patillo. Patillo.
Yeah.
Grew up in
And,
Columbus, Georgia. Bachelor's degree from Clark Atlanta University. He's a politician. All right.
No, he's not a politician.
Oh, okay. Well, he's listed in Ballotpedia. Whatever. Maybe in 2012 he ran for the House of Representatives in Georgia, the Georgia State House.
Look up his name and his comments on Brandon Taylor.
Brandon Tatum?
Brandon Tatum.
Okay.
Yes. But,
Sounds like a liberal.
Yeah. That he is, but he's a lawyer who knows the law in Georgia.
Lawyers are liars. But yeah, all right.
So are Republicans. Just look at your president.
My president,
he's an expert
your
on
president
on
is a
lying.
truth teller.
Yeah, truth or lying.
Okay.
An expert.
Thank you, Earl.
He majors in it.
He majors in it. All right.
But, the intelligence, Republican-led report on an intelligence on whether people in Trump's campaign, colluded with the Russians and so forth.
Yeah.
When that came out and
Isn't it relaxing listening to Earl talk?
Mueller.
What's that?
It goes
Mueller?
deeper than what Mueller. Mueller.
Right, yeah.
Pronounces that.
Uh-huh.
And they they said some of those guys talked to Russian agents, Manafort and so forth.
Who? Manafort? Okay.
That they colluded with Russian agents.
That they talked
forth.
to or colluded? What you talking about? It sounds like you're not clear on what's going on.
In other words, Manafort, when they talked about all the things,
okay, yeah.
Paul Manafort and others, and they also wanted to investigate some of Trump's relatives. They sent out inquiries to investigate some of his people. So this is a Republican-led report.
Oh, the rhinos? Yeah.
And you should read excerpts from Michael Cohen's book. That
The Rat.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That talks about Trump participating in golden showers and orgies in Las Vegas and so forth.
Shame on you, Earl. Shame on you.
And things that
I thought that you were above that. I didn't realize that you were that disgusting that you would repeat nonsense like that.
Nonsense?
Yeah.
You mean?
I knew you were a Democrat, but I didn't think that you would stoop that low.
Oh, you need to protect him, huh?
No, it's just you're pretty disgusting, Earl.
President.
No, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, your president is disgusting, and you're disgusting for defending him.
No, you're disgusting. What you just said. What you just said.
You know what golden shower is.
Goodbye, Earl. That's worth a hang up on him. What a sick person, huh? The Rat. The Rat. Like we're gonna listen to the Rat. Somebody who just turns on Trump like that. That's sick. Earl is a tabloid Democrat, says Esoteric. That might be a fair description. Crazy Mother Dance says, James, stop talking to Mr. Earl and talk with Marty. Give him a chance to say something. Yeah. I don't know if that's much better, Crazy Mother Dance, but thank you, Mama. No offense. It's disgusting. Let me quickly get to Samuel in Sweden, on whose show I will appear on Sunday. Is the plan? Via Skype. Very nice. Samuel in Sweden, been on hold forever. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Right.
Every time I hear Earl, I think I'm getting old because I don't find him entertaining anymore. I just find him boring.
It is a little bit relaxing because there's more pauses and quiet to hear him talk. Is it, or is it just me?
Well, is Earl brain dead from too much pot smoking? Because how many years have he called in exactly the same mindset every time?
Yeah, his mindset has not changed. That's true. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
Well, in the area where I live in Sweden, they started to give out free condoms to young people.
Yep.
And I talked with a politician I know who said, well, write to the local newspaper. So I wrote a letter, and they published it. And an atheist I know said they must be insane to put it in print. But anyway, I wanted to just...
So it came out? Your letter came out in print?
Yeah, they published it.
Nice.
And I just read a little from it. So I said, what then is the result of young men and women living promiscuous with sex outside of marriage? They become immoral and completely unsuitable marriage candidates. They cannot handle lifelong monogamy. Divorce, if a relationship ever even goes as far as marriage, is expected. Broken families, children with a variety of mothers and father figures who replace each other in a rapid stream. Ruthlessness in the soul, generation after generation, with the disintegration of society as a result. We need the nuclear family, father and mother in a stable, lifelong relationship, and the child who receives their parents' undivided attention during a safe upbringing. I want a region, instead of condoms, to inform young people that there is something far more valuable than temporary sexual satisfaction, moral. And I said moral because it's to have, to be anchored in strict values, life values.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I had a dinner with a lot of secular persons, I saw them floating around in the sea of society. They had no anchor in anything.
Yep.
And I felt so blessed to be so strongly anchored in my faith, in the values and morals that I have. So,
Stay close to your phone, Samuel. You're drifting away.
Oh, do you hear me? Well,
Yeah, that's better.
Well, I just said I felt blessed when I looked at all these unanchored people just following the waves of the roaring sea, and how I could see unanchored. I have a strong faith, anchoring morals, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have the faith. And I just have to say that I published it on Gab.
Nice.
You can read it at Gab, and a woman came and said, well, the young people need to use condoms, otherwise they will go and do abortions. Do you know what I said to her?
What'd you say?
Silent woman, sit down.
You said silence woman, what?
Silent woman, and sit down.
Nice.
It's typical that someone will protect immorality.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're going to take a break now, but it's the Christian political party in Sweden. They are so totally crazy. I just want to mention it, but perhaps it's not enough time here.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's nice that you were able to put that out there. Is it online that we can check it out?
It's online. You can read. If you go to my Gab site.
Okay.
It's one of my recent posts.
Gab.com/thecrossstream.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have the news site, but Google Translate of it in
Nice.
English.
Right on. That's cool, man. Yeah. Tell me later about the Christian political party in Sweden. I'm gonna have to keep on moving here, but
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you on Sunday, I hope.
that sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Have a nice day.
All right.
Have a nice
You
week.
as well, Samuel. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, bye.
Take care. We're close to the top of the hour. I'm going to be telling you about Chrissy Legend, John Legend. They have a beautiful home that they just sold. I call it a home, but it's really a mansion. But, and I want to tell you about Uber and Lyft and California Democrats and businesses hurting and stuff like that. And oh my gosh, you know how they're trying to change the Redskins, Washington Redskins, which I think is a DC based, right? DC, I think. But they're not the only Indian themed whatever NFL team. The Kansas City Chiefs are oppressing their fans, oppressing them, taking away their rights. Such a shame. Such a bad way to live. But, I don't think I need a break. Instead of taking my break, I've got to get to Robert in Kansas. He has some information that some of you may find very interesting. Robert, out of Kansas, how are you, Robert?
Hey, morning, Hake. I'm doing good, man. You hear me?
Yes.
Good. Jesse had a great show today with the whole flat earth thing coming in strong with the callers. That was awesome.
Nice.
I want to, number one, you guys talk about so many things, so I call in for one thing, but then you talk about some stuff. So, first of all, on Obama, you had some stupid woman call in talking about Obama's this and Obama's that. She knows absolutely nothing about what she's talking about. Obama's mama is Jewish. Okay, that's what they're hiding.
So
She's
she
a
was
Jew.
not Christian?
She's a Jew.
I mean,
Look
I
it
know
up.
she's not. I know she's
okay.
not a real Christian, right? But she
Her
didn't
name's Ann,
pretend
her
to be
name is
Christian.
Ann Dunham. Well, you can look it all up, man. You don't have
Okay.
to believe me. Her name is
All right.
Ann Dunham, and that's his mom. And
Right.
what they're hiding is that he's a product of her and Frank Marshall. That's what they're hiding.
Frank Marshall
And-
Davis, right, is what some believe
Yeah.
was the real father.
Okay,
Did
yeah.
Dinesh D'Souza? Did you happen to watch Dinesh D'Souza's movie? 2016.
No, he's an idiot.
Okay, but be that as it may, he had that 2016 movie was pretty good, and I think it might have. They definitely mentioned Frank Marshall Davis, who was kind of like maybe a mentor to Obama in some way. And was that guy a communist or a socialist? Black radical?
Yeah, he is whatever he was, Hake. That's not my point, man.
Okay.
But
All right. You wanna get your stuff out.
Does anyone know anything about Islam? Because a Muslim person isn't going to legalize gay marriage and put men into women's bathrooms. A Muslim
As
is not
Obama
gonna
did.
do that.
No,
Well,
yeah, I
I'm
thought
just
he was
saying.
an atheist.
Hake, it's very complicated, but it's just this idea that he was a Muslim. That was the work. You understand his name, Barack Obama? That was the work. That was the play. That was the juke. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get.
Okay.
I catch your drift.
All right, man. Okay, second thing, real quick. Clarence Thomas.
Was
that
he?
Was he's Monsanto's guy. Okay, and the thing is that he allowed them to poison our food.
With
So
is that with
basically
GMOs?
Big money.
Is that GMOs?
Poison our food, Hake. It's the scope of it is immense. All right. So next thing, I got a Corona fact for everybody, and you can all look this up.
So
too.
you don't, but do you like Clarence Thomas on the moral stuff that he stands on?
Yes, he has been. He said stuff against abortion and the pervert agenda.
Right.
And so I appreciate his cultural grounding, and I believe he might be a Christian to an extent. All I know is he had the money back of that industry, and they took over anyway, man. It's there's a reason why.
Did the
people come
Supreme
to
Court
power.
rule to protect Monsanto?
Basically, they said, yeah, we can just destroy the food supply of the United States if we make more money.
Okay.
And then if you poison people, what happens to your healthcare industry? It goes boom, too. So there's lots of players involved, right?
Man, crazy. So look into it, guys, if you're so interested. Monsanto-based America First says is anti-farmer, based AF, based _AF, America First. He says Monsanto is anti-farmer. Huge company. And they were behind a lot of the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, according to Dr. Singh, a frequent guest formerly on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. So look into it, guys, if you're so interested.
Okay. Hey, next thing real quick, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get through them quick. Coronavirus fact. Okay, I just want to point everybody to this. I went to a real good business school, did a bunch of math, learned how to do statistical analysis, modeling, all that stuff. Okay, I know how to talk math. And there's statistics you can look up. 8,000 Americans die every day. This is just every single day, about 8,000, right around there.
Wow.
Okay, this number has remained unchanged through this entire coronavirus, COVID, whatever. It's unchanged. So
Interesting.
meaning that every single day has been the same. All they did was code them for coronavirus, which pays them a lot more.
Can you point people to that or send me
that citation?
Yeah.
The citation. Do I need to tell people who have a brain how to look up information?
All right,
do I really have to do that?
I'm just
You
trying
heard
to
what
get.
I said, right?
I'm just trying to help people out who want
I
to
don't
look
wanna
into
help
this stuff
them
for
out
themselves.
if they can't look up basic stuff, man.
Dang.
Okay. Now let's get to my point, man.
Yeah,
Let's
go
get to
for
my
it.
point. NBC had the question. They asked Trump in front of the world, "Are you fighting pedophile cannibals?" Okay, this is an insane thing that happened. Okay, I mean, literally nuclear weapons might start going off, dude. And then you have an FBI tweet a couple days ago.
Right,
okay?
the FBI archives.
Yes, sir. Put out the Protocols of the Elders of Zion PDF. And you
Right.
can read all this. And dude, I don't know if I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Like the FBI? Like, I don't know what's going on. But seriously, dude, like, this is, like, if you see the world, like, we might think about the Corona days as like the good old days, hey, because this is getting, like, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully I'm just, like, overreacting to it. That's what I hope.
Yeah, don't try to predict the future, Robert.
It's insane, dude. But that's what I do, man. I mean, not that I can do that. I don't have that ability. But, you put enough data points together. I've proven to myself over time that I can basically see what's going to happen, dude. I mean,
right, I know, but I mean, we have, like, wisdom, right? But as you know, the Bible says, Jesus says in the Bible, do not worry. You know what I mean? Which is another...
I know, Hake.
Yeah. So that's... you're a Christian, right? So...
I try to be.
It's very interesting. Yeah, I was trying to read... I read like the first two or got into the third page of that PDF that the FBI tweeted out. And by the way, they tweeted out a couple of like explanatory, halfway apologizing tweets after that. Because normally that account is just automated. Anytime they put up a new thing, it automatically tweets it out, and it didn't have any context. And so all these people were freaking out about this protocols of the elders of Zion thing that came out over 100 years ago, right? Pretty interesting stuff.
Some people say it's about 10,000 years old. The latest version is about 100.
Right.
It comes from Babylon, and that's the last thing I want to point to you, Hake, because I know your job and how you're looking into history. It's Men History Month, all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
The real secret history is always about banking and controlling the money supply. And really what that goes back to is Babylonian money magic or Babylonian corporate fiction. Okay, and these sorts of words, you can look into all this, and that's really the real history of the banks trying to come in. They take over, and then they control the money. They make everything a corporation. What does a corporation run on? It runs on money. So they control everything.
Did you get into this stuff? Because you're a veteran, right?
Yeah, I'm a veteran. I'm also I went to business school, and I consult for people, and I do other things.
Was that you got into this stuff after serving in the military?
Well, yeah, I did my time overseas in East Asia, in West Asia, and a little bit of walking around in Europe. Went all over the world, literally around the flat world, right?
Did you see like action, or was it just pretty peaceful generally?
Well, it's pretty peaceful. I was stationed in East Baghdad. People died every day, dude. I'm talking soldiers, and I've been, dude. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about that, but
okay.
Yeah, man, I saw enough violence to last me for the rest of my life. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah. Was it under Obama?
No, it was under George Bush. Luckily, I was already out when Obama came in because he screwed, dude. He put like infantry in high heels and
I saw stuff like that.
Had sodomites controlling like whole battalions and divisions of people.
Right.
And like you have people in the military calling me, and they're like, "Dude, we're not following these perverts.
I know.
We're not following these are queers, man. We're not doing
Calm
anything
down,
they
Robert.
say."
Calm down.
Anyway,
this is a family show. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Hey.
Take care.
Love the Jews and everything, but this is a crate, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Hey, just. I don't know.
Well, don't sweat it.
Have some guns and food and water ready, everybody, okay? Because I have no idea. They might shut off the power, man. This is wild.
Appreciate you, man. See you in the church with stream as well. Take care.
All right, brother. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, I'm going to get to the rest of your calls. Hang tight there. And there's a couple lines open, 888-775-3773. But I got to show you guys this house from these evil people. Chrissy, and I call her Chrissy Legend. Chrissy Teigan or Teigan, I always ask. I never remember. But she's a model, right? She's a female model. And Asian, white, or something like that, I think. Something. And her husband is John Legend, who is a radical black singer. I think she may be more radical and worse than he is. I think she leads him. But both of them have severe Trump derangement syndrome, which is not healthy for a young family. They have a daughter who's like, what? How old is the daughter? 4? Luna? 2-year-old son, Miles. And now she's pregnant with a third child. And they bought this house for and I say use the term house loosely. It's a compound. It's like bigger than a mansion. Or it's less homey than a mansion. let's say, at least from the outside. But Joel's showing you pictures of this thing. Doesn't that look like a hotel or something like that? This is in Beverly Hills. Huge living room and outside looking down on the world, on Los Angeles. Big TVs, huge sofas, big old bridges across their house. On the inside, their inside of their house has a huge bridge across a staircase. That's a bridge, right? You would call that a bridge. And it was formerly owned by Rihanna, who's an island singer, right? She's like black. Look at this, like this is their little home theater with two huge fancy sofa things. I guess it's not theirs anymore. They sold it. They bought it for $14 million, 2016. And then Trump became president and they suffered from severe Trump derangement syndrome. And now they're selling it for almost $24 million in TMZ, which is a far left, sleazy, trashy outlet. Smears whites and Christians and people like that. But they said that they need room for the baby, which is, I have to assume is a joke. Look at this black artwork and beautiful, fancy, like modern home thing, house. Beverly Hills, they're leaving Beverly Hills after Antifa rolled through and nearly destroyed Beverly Hills. Beautiful overlooks and just, look at that huge king size or bigger bed. I guess that's their bedroom. And just wild, high ceilings. Crazy. I had to show that to you, just the shocking affluence. They are kangs. Good, nice looking family, but rotting on the inside. Miserable people. It just shows you money does not, and huge, beautiful locations to live and get away from the world does not get you away from your miserable self. Because they are miserable people. Just go look at their Twitter timeline and, like, do a search, anything related to Don Jr. or Trump. I think Don Jr. went to school with John Legend or something like that. They kind of know each other or something. Not that Don Jr. has peace himself. You know, although he is a solid guy in terms of defending his father and stuff. Nick calls that a mezzanine. That bridge thing. But, like young people, right? It says, the Bible says, I think, enjoy your life while you are still young. But in the days of your youth, remember your God. And most of us don't even know what that even means, right? And they're fleeing Los Angeles, as many are. Los Angeles plagued with homelessness and plagued with their own living hell inside of them. I remember she tweeted something really nasty. She didn't tweet it. She posted it on Instagram. And she basically posted an Instagram picture of her husband naked. I don't know if Joelle knew that, but nasty. Nasty. I wonder how he put up with that. Men just aren't the same, right? Men's History Month. Hake, says Marcus Jones, John Legend is about the same age as you and is married with a family. And every bit as miserable, if not more so. Let's see. John Legend, age 41, 78. That's kind of older. I still got time. Chrissy, I think that he's older than her at least. Oh, she's 34. Okay. And he's 41. All right. But spiritually, Marcus Jones cannot pretend that these people are people of peace. Somebody says, A. Owen says, Hake has that as his screensaver. Is it? I think he's referring to those pictures of John Legend's ex-house, ex-mansion. And these people, you know, I think that they have like this false guilt of, you know, they don't really deserve what they get or something like that, or they don't have inner peace, so they just become liberals to feel better about themselves. Much akin to how that lady that Robert from Kansas kind of rudely called her stupid. The beautiful, pretty little head lady from Boston, right? I'm blanking on the name. Sandra, you know, says, I don't hate anybody. I just feel sorry for them and stuff like that. That's like a liberal thing. By the way, Marcus Jones, since you're supposed to be a Christian, Abraham had a child at 90 or 100. Whatever. Anyways, guys, speaking of California, and then I will get to calls. Hang tight, Marty and all you. Uber and Lyft and the California Democrats. Yesterday, towards the end of the show, Daniel from Los Angeles called in. He drives for Lyft, and they were talking about, oh, Uber's shutting down and stuff like that because of the California liberals, the politicians in Sacramento saying, we could be getting more money, and we could be swooping in to fix a problem that isn't a big problem, right? You know, sometimes you would hear of people complaining about Uber and Lyft not being as profitable as it once was, right? They're lowering the prices of things, and so we're not making it as much money, and there's too many drivers on the road now, and all that stuff. The more drivers there are, the less money there is to make, right? And people have been complaining about Uber and Lyft. They're big companies, right? Well, every bit as evil, if not more, are the California Democrats. And, you know, Uber and Lyft support Black Lives Matter and trash like that, LGBTQIA stuff. Feel good evil, right? Feel good evil. The soft evil of liberalism, right? The Skim reports yesterday the two ride-hailing services, Uber and Lyft, that's what they are, right? You go on an app for the boomers and you catch a ride. It's like a taxi, but it's normal people. They were given a reprieve to keep on keeping on for now. They were preparing to suspend operations in California today. Today is Friday. Because they were facing a court order to reclassify their drivers as employees instead of quote-unquote gig workers. Gig worker means kind of like an independent contractor. You do a job. Say you have a gig over in some, like, you're going to play guitar at some bar, right? That's like a gig. Or you have this side gig on drive Uber. Or you just drive for Uber full-time, like quote-unquote full-time, 40, 60, 80 hours a week. You can do that if you want, right? You can make your own hours. Well, hours after this, before this deadline, an appeals court said, don't hit the brakes just yet on servicing California. Imagine what would have happened. Jeez. The states accused Uber and Lyft of violating a new law by Lorena Gonzalez. Look up Lorena Gonzalez, California Democrat. Lorena Gonzalez. She is a liberal female, right? Say no more. But she's partly behind this law, so-called law. And she tweeted about it, and I think that she prevented people from replying to her tweets, or is policing who can reply to the tweets. You can do that now on Twitter. Sick. But the state has accused Uber and Lyft of violating this new law, which took effect back in January, several months back. I was hearing about it during Christmas break, that looks to give gig workers, quote-unquote, protections. This is Lorena Gonzalez, the picture of her. She is part of the people running the state of California. Protections like minimum wage, that's not a protection. Overtime pay and other quote-unquote benefits. They want to force companies to take care of their workers more than Joelle says she's rough looking. I don't know. She's kind of pretty evil. Joelle said, Lord. California claims the companies, quote, exploited hundreds of thousands of California workers. But Uber and Lyft had said complying with the law would mean raising fares and laying off drivers. The case will be back in court in October. They also have tips on how gig economy laws like those in California's could affect your wallet. California AB 5 is the law, right? AB 5 for Assembly Bill. This is a female assemblyman. Prices go up. They say prices could go up. Prices go up. Service gets worse. They say service could get worse. Service gets worse. This is government meddling, so-called in the name of the workers, right? Which is a Trojan horse for destroying, right? This, according to liberal females who write for The Skim. The Skim is a female-run liberal outlet. Your side hustle could get more lucrative, though, because, you know, ill-gotten gain, bribery by the government. It's pretty sick. All of this government meddling has hurt businesses and would-be workers, right? It's hurt the economy. Minimum wage does nothing, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know something better than I do, but minimum wage only makes money more cheaper. It makes money cheaper, basically. You're getting what you don't deserve, and it evens out in the end, right? Businesses are hurting. Thank you, Democrats, for this COVID shutdown, too, right? Lots of cuts. Taco Bell no longer offers, Taco Bell is a liberal corporation, fast food joint. They support illegal aliens. Yes, we shouldn't be supporting them, right? But Taco Bell, I learned, I didn't go there, so I didn't find this out firsthand, but they no longer sell Fritos burritos. They now sell these beef burritos for a little bit more expensive, like $1.89. That's got to be good for you. Thank you, Clarence Thomas in Monsanto. I'm halfway kidding. I don't know. But Subway is not selling certain sandwich items. McDonald's doesn't have salads in the middle of the day or towards late afternoon. Joel said the Fritos burritos are the only reason that he went to Taco Bell. Well, with the expansion of sin in the world, you no longer can even enjoy your Fritos burritos from the sinful place called Taco Bell. Oh, thank hell for Taco Bell. Anyways. Yeah, McDonald's, you go there and you're like, oh, get me this chicken salad. We don't have that. Oh, fine. Give me a Big Mac. Sometimes they don't have hash browns or whatever. I don't know. American Airlines dropping service to 15 small cities. And think about that. And there could be more difficult airline industry decisions on the way because of this, not because of COVID, but because of the liberal shutdowns due to COVID. And I understand, you want to be smart about how to go about things, but what they do is control. It's not smart. It's really evil. Think about this is what these things do. It puts the small people at risk. Small cities no longer get as much service from the airlines. In fact, dropped completely from American Airlines, which is a big company. And, it's kind of like things are going great. Most Americans are quite spoiled and fat and sassy. And so, let the illegals come in here. But then when you have to tighten your belt, right, and things get tight, the people who haven't prepared their lives well or just are in a bad situation, many of them are blacks and all that stuff. Many of them are whites. Many of them are others. Suffering because there's not enough work to go around and all that stuff. And with the illegals putting them more of a strain and unrelenting immigration. Thank you, Joe Biden. I should get that clip. Have I played that clip for you guys before? It hasn't been recent, if I had. Joel says, "Stay ready, not to get ready," something like that. Which is like the Boy Scout motto, "Be prepared," I think is what you're getting at. Where save your money, be prepared, stay fit. SZQ says, Hake needs to start keto for his beta back. Whoa, interesting. Yeah, those Fritos burritos probably increase inflammation. Joel only did that on his cheat day and not every week.
Thanks for clarifying.
I got to get to Marty in Kansas City, Missouri. He's been on hold for some time. Marty, it's good to hear from you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'll tell you, I'm a pit bull that's been neutered today, so I appreciate your your communication with me yesterday. You know, you sent me a
right
message
on
the whole deal. You know, and so I understand exactly what you're talking about. I also want to say that I appreciate the support of the chat. Nicklick, Brandon, Skip, all of you guys. You're
Crazy Mother Dance.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, man. I don't even care if you're a hater. I don't care if you're a hater, man. We're like a family, and I appreciate that.
How about Marcus Jones?
You know, I don't know about Marcus, man. I don't really know about that dude. I mean, I don't hate him.
Right.
You know, he makes it fun, but yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think about crows?
Crows are cool. I mean,
you like them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody poisoned the well by writing crows are cool. Your thoughts? And so, like, I agreed crows are cool. They are cool, though. I grew up with crows all around. Crows and parrots over in Temple City, El Monte area where I grew up. Beautiful parrots. And I heard that they were from, like, an escaped, decades before or whenever, they had escaped out of a pet store. And that's why we have parrots in our neighborhood by flocks and flocks of parrots, but also a lot of crows. And there's crows and then there's ravens. I hear that ravens are bigger. Ravens seem really cool. They fed Elijah or somebody. Fed by ravens, right? But crows are cool. They're black. They are, and I mean like black, like jet black, crow black. And they have an interesting caw. I can't even imitate it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And yeah, they're cool. I think that they are scavengers, right? They pick at the dead and stuff like that.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Minor birds are really the best, but those I mean, to get one of those, it costs you like $700. But
you're trying to get a crow?
I'd love to have a crow,
like
as
a pet,
but yeah, but I don't think it's legal because you're not allowed to have animals in my state anyway. You're not allowed to have animals that are part of the wildlife as pets. So
interesting.
You know, you can't even have like a pet garter snake.
You know, crows too. When I referenced black, I was like trying to clarify not the race black, but in the movie Dumbo, those are crows where they say, "I be done sing about everything when I see an elephant fly."
Yeah.
And but the movies to Joel made him see crows as death. What movie? Is it the birds?
Every movie they kind of symbolize.
They kind of do, yeah.
And then the doves as life.
I was sheltered as a child, so I just saw crows around in my street.
Yeah.
So I didn't associate them that way.
SGV
but
is crows everywhere.
Yeah.
They're super smart and
but some people are thinking that you're a weirdo for wanting a crow as a pet over there in Kansas City, Missouri.
You know what? Some people love me too because yesterday, man, I got so much support out of the chat, man. I mean, I don't know exactly what to think about what you just said because there might be some people that think I'm crazy, but there's a lot of people that like what I have to say. But I was gonna tell you that.
What are you gonna do
crows,
with a crow as a pet?
feed it? You gotta feed it. You gotta.
But
feed
you
a
shouldn't.
pet, right?
But you know you. That's not really an answer. This whole other people like me is not really an answer to some people thinking that you're weird for wanting a crow as a pet, because I can't believe I'm like entertaining this. Well, actually, I can. I totally can. It makes sense knowing me, right? But you should like examine yourself rather than rely on what other people say about you, just because, and only rely on the positive statements. You know, it sounds like your tender ego is being propped up by the people in the chat.
But why? But why should I examine myself? Because I don't see a problem.
That's why you should examine yourself.
Why?
Examine yourself always. It's kind of like what Joel said. Be prepared so that you don't have to get ready in a hurry when the waves come. Then you're not blown and buffeted by the waves of other people's, like me not wanting to take your call, or the people in chat. What if they turn on you? You know, you don't want to be. You're a man. This is Men's History Month. We're supposed to be solid men, respectable, not weirdos who defend our weirdo-ness because other people like us on the YouTube chat. You know what I mean?
So you just called me a weirdo.
And?
I'm not a weirdo.
Oh, right. I think that might be a matter of fact.
Well, maybe you should examine yourself, because you're calling me a weirdo, and I'm not a weirdo.
Okay.
I'm just, I'm asking a question about what you think about crows, and I'd like to have one as a pet.
Perfectly normal.
Well, you don't think it? Okay, all right, man. I like them. They love French fries. I see them all the time outside of McDonald's.
He's not paid, guys. He's not paid.
Paid? They think I'm paid?
No, nobody thinks.
Okay, so I mentioned the name of a restaurant. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, I'm not talking about a restaurant. I was talking about the fact that you call in with these off-the-wall questions and things like that, and it's people might think that this is part of like an entertainment kick thing, that, oh, I have this paid caller. People think that it's, a lot of times people think that these calls are paid or scripted or something. You know how much work that would be? Oh my gosh, doesn't even make sense.
Man, I wish I was getting paid.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
You got a job, Marty?
Yeah, off and on. And
Okay.
I'm getting ready to go work for a dude. He's got a crooked nose and one name, and you know who those guys are.
Be careful.
And I know. But yeah, I mean, I'm just.
You're the one who's 52?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this guy.
You're
he
white?
took a liking. Huh?
You're white?
Yeah. What difference does that make, man?
I mean, it's just, the state of white people, white men. It's interesting to me.
White men like crows?
Yeah, that too.
Was that Joel in the back? I think I heard Joel.
You got him chuckling.
I love Joel, man. He can twerk and moonwalk at the same time, man.
I've never. Don't give anybody
That's
that
not a
picture.
compliment.
That's. You're almost as bad as Earl with that comment.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm playing a little bit, but yeah. Anyways,
No,
Marty.
I love you guys, man. You're awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, man.
Take care.
I'll let you go, man, because I'm sure there's other callers waiting.
Yeah, and I got to get to some other stories too. Very interesting stories coming up. Speaking of Kansas City, I'm going to be talking about your football team, which I don't know if you.
I was wondering what the heck. What I didn't catch that story.
Yeah.
What's the deal with it?
Listen.
Well, I guess I won't ask you.
Yeah,
right
listen
now.
on YouTube. I'll tell you right now. Okay, switch back over to the or wherever you're listening. Take care, Marty.
Okay.
All right.
All righty. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Weakness is taking over I mean, we already knew this. It's really like old news to say weakness is taking over the NFL. We've been watching for like years, if not decades, them. I mean, they were pretty like promoting scantily clad cheerleader people, and now people are like longing for those days as if those days were more moral. I guess they, in a sense, they kind of were, but they may have led up to this. But they've been putting on pink for Susan G. Komen for the cure, help cure breast cancer. I guess the reasoning behind the NFL promoting this breast cancer thing, in addition to getting males, because males like the National Football League, American football, getting males to be a little bit more sympathetic or aware of helping ladies with their breast cancer stuff, right? But also, I think that breast cancer may be, is it disproportionately affecting black women? It might be. I know that abortion, there is an ABC link, according to some doctors. It's kind of suppressed information, I think. But ABC, abortion breast cancer link. Basically, the theory or the evidence shows, I don't know, look it up for yourself, that, and I think it's true though, that abortion interrupts the process of giving birth and having a baby and feeding the baby and all that stuff. Well, abortion not only kills the baby and takes it out of the woman prematurely, it also like interrupts the process. And meanwhile, like the woman's body is preparing to feed the baby, right? And so when that process is interrupted and you have a baby later on in life rather than at 13 or whenever you got yourself pregnant, it's better for you health-wise to have that baby. And if you got to give it up for adoption or whatever, if you're one of those young ladies who get the teen pregnancy or whatever, and say it's out of wedlock still, don't have the abortion. It's not good for you health-wise. It can lead, it's correlated with more instances of breast cancer. Kind of makes sense if you think about it, right? The process interrupted, never feed the baby, breast cancer. So maybe that's why, and the reason I mention that is because many black females get get abortions more disproportionate to their population, right? Women in general, I think they're getting breast cancer more because of I think partly because of the degenerate ways that they're living, more abortions and things like that, but also, as I think Jesse Lee Peterson has said, that cancer is the things that anger does to the body. Women are more angry. They're encouraged to be angry and not be around men and not have their fathers or their husbands and stuff like that. More leads to more cancer. But they don't, Susan G. Komen for the cure supports the so-called cure for cancer, supports Planned Parenthood. Please, they don't want the real cure. They want money and, they want to make people feel good and stuff like that. But whatever. So the NFL, they're wearing pink. Talk about a lack of dignity. But that's been years going on. And they have Colin Kaepernick wearing pig cop socks and sitting down like a bump on a log for the anthem, disrespecting America and everyone in it, and pretending that he has any love for blacks, which he doesn't. He's just a brainwashed, blind, useful idiot, liberal too. And they're trying to force the Washington Redskins to change their name because that's supposedly a slur against American Indians, which some people call them Native Americans, as though we're not Native Americans. We're born here. We're Native Americans. Anyways, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yesterday, the Missouri NFL team, Kansas City, Missouri, announced it's banning, according to The Skim, a far-left female-written outlet, banning fans from wearing Native American, which is Indian, headdresses. Not Indian, but American Indian. Headdresses and face paint that appropriates so-called Native American culture. The team said it had discouraged fans from doing that for years, but now it's officially prohibiting it. What a shame. I mean, if it's their property, they have the right to have a dress code, I guess. But what a shame. She's kissing up to the false. This is not going to help, as Joel has pointed out and common sense points out. Getting rid of supposedly offensive Confederate monuments is not going to help the black community at all. It's not going to help what the problems are facing the black community. And there are major problems facing the American Indians. They have a high adolescent suicide rate and unemployment rate and so-called poverty rate and all kinds of different things. Alcoholism, I think, is an issue with them. But no, they want to address this symbolic thing of whites appropriating their culture. Look at this picture of a fan with war paint and wearing an Indian chief headdress. Isn't that awesome? So talk about a red herring on the actual problems facing, or symptoms even, facing the American Indians. And it'll continue working, the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, as in American Indian Chiefs. Oh, yeah, they used to do that. Or I guess that's the Atlanta Braves would do the brave hatchet chop thing. I don't know. Remember, let me finish this story and then reminisce about the awesome Covington Catholic school boys. But the Kansas City Chiefs will continue to work with Native American leaders, basically read the equivalent of Al Sharpton for the Indians, right? Those types, disgusting people, to gain a better understanding on the issues facing American Indian communities. Shut up. Really? Seriously? Right? But remember, we got to dig up that clip sometime. The Covington Catholic boys, the high schoolers, after a pro-life rally, they were over in D.C. doing March for Life, not to be confused with March for Our Lives, which is anti-Second Amendment. Yeah, the tomahawk chop. Thank you, Derek. Big bump. They were the high schooler boys, not Nicholas Sandman, but some of his classmates, let's call them, at this Covington Catholic High School, Covington, Kentucky, right? They did this trip to march against abortion, right? Against killing the babies in the womb. And then they're at this D.C. thing in front of some great American monuments, and these black Hebrew Israelites are shouting and cussing at them and hating them because they're white. Or they think that's why they hate them, but really they're just hateful people. The black Hebrew Israelites who were yelling at these boys. And then these American Indian guys come up, and one of them is basically a long-time agitator activist guy. I'm blanking on this guy's name, but this is the picture of Nicholas Sandman, who won some judgments against fake news media outlets that called him racist and stuff. And then there you see the side face of this guy, Philip, I forget what his name is, Nathan Phillips or something like that. He's an American Indian activist, agitator, liberal. Marched right up to this boy's face. And the fake news media pretended that he was standing in there, the white boys got in their path and stuff like that. When really, this guy marched up to them and like started beating his drum and singing in the boy's face. And Nicholas Sandman just stood there smiling, not knowing exactly what to do, but that smirk was racist. And then these boys in the background are just having so much fun, singing along and beating the drum and doing the tomahawk chop. And some of them have MAGA hats, Make America Great Again, right on. And because of that, because they're white and they're wearing MAGA hats and they're pro-life, they got smeared. That one boy is funny. Shouting, and they're just having fun with it. And young guys, they don't have any guilt, the false guilt of racism. And they're just having fun. Hi-ya-ya-ya. It's so funny. But they're pretending that whites having fun with Indian stuff, and in all honesty, they love them, the Indians. They're pretending that's insulting and needs to not be happening and stuff like that. Ridiculous. That's liberals for you, the female-minded mindset. Hot Computer Smell gave a super chat on the streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. And then we will get to your calls. Appreciate you hanging on. Hot Computer Smell says, this name change stuff, referring to the Redskins changing their name, is only designed to make us angry. They can and have ignored dissent before. They're only doing this because it's an election year. Yeah, they're trying to divide people with lies and hatred and resentment and suspicion. It is true. Yeah, don't get sucked into, as is so easy the case for most of us for all of us who aren't born again, right? Don't get sucked into doing something stupid or being mad, or even denying that you're mad and the hating. These people who are pushing this insanity, because we're part of the problem if we're subject to that stuff. We're no better. Nathan Phillips has lied to news agencies also, says Jim Justice. I've heard this before. I have heard that. The Washingtons. Is that? Oh, yeah, the Washington football team is what they're calling themselves now. Sick. It's a war. It's a culture war. Hake is offended by the Vikings, LOL, says Arizona lineman. Yeah. What a mess. Get up off your knees, NFL, says Stu Tay with a diamond on DLive.tv/The Hake Report. Is this women's sports? Exactly. Noah's Ark, Kansas says, guy's name was Chief Fulla Bull instead of Chief Sitting Bull. Hydro PX gave a diamond. Fair warning to Marty from Kansas City, Missouri. Hydro PX advises crows are the worst pets. All right. I believe Hydro PX. He's not one to lie. I don't think he's ever lied to me. Noah's Ark, Kansas says, y'all gotta go back. Can't stay here. Who are you referring to there? I'm not sure. John Legend and Chrissy Teigan, whatever. Chrissy Legend. Can't wait for cuties, says Evgeny Crosby. Oh, man, I don't know. But, they are degenerate, sick people. Part of pushing that evil stuff, for sure. Based AF, Based America First, gave a ninjet, guys. Wow. Let's have a hand for him. Right on. Appreciate the generous support. And says, grandmother says, send a ninjet to her favorite golden boy. Thank you. Can you preface Joe Maddock, always with the astute observations, says, with the diamond, can you preface the Drudge Report with far left? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I do preface anything that they reference, that because Drudge links to the far left Washington Post, the far left CNN, the far left Rhino Outlet Wall Street Journal, far left Market Watch, far left Reuters, anti-American, far left, take your pick, The Guardian. Most of the stuff that they reference is far left. I don't know who's running Drudge, but I don't know. I don't know if I will, but appreciate the request, Joe Maddock. Hydro PX points out, isn't undocumented citizen a contradiction? It's a good question. It really is. They live by contradictions. They aim to confuse and lie and just spread evil, right? Fan of the ladies. It reminds me of some of these conversations with Christians who say that they're Christians, but they're sinners till they die, and they come up with convoluted ways to make the Bible, which says no one who's born of God sins, to make it mean exactly the opposite, that they continue to sin until the day they die. It's just, and their explanations are clear as mud. Whereas when Jesus talked, it was quite clear usually. Some of it I don't understand, right? when Jesse Lee Peterson talks, it's very clear. He likes yes or no answers and direct, very clear. Maybe you don't understand some of the stuff. You don't see it for yourself or whatever, but that's clarity. God is not a God of confusion, right? I think that's in the Bible. Maybe it's just a saying. But Satan is about confusion. And, yeah, so contradictions like undocumented citizen. Liberals. What does Earl say to Nick when he calls the show? Asks fan of the ladies. It's a good question. Nick, let me know. So, very nice. Appreciate you guys. Nick, they asked, what does Earl say to the callers? No, what does Earl say to Nick when Earl calls into the show? Hola, buenos dias. It's probably what they say. You know, I have this information. Nick, you can let me know whenever. He just says, put me on for general. And then he presses him for a topic every time. Okay, so election meddling. You know how they accused, including Earl, accused Trump of colluding with Russia to meddle in the elections, right? And, you know, they accuse the decent people of being what they are. That's what the communists, the America haters, white haters, Christian haters, socialists, the radicals, the radical evil people, that is. They accuse you of being what they are. And Democrats and liberals are such liars. The mainstream media, right? They meddle in the election every way they can, banning many people. Jesse Lee Peterson, Alex Jones, Stefan Molyneux, and many others from YouTube and Facebook and, you know, like crazy. That's election meddling. Sometimes Earl is nice, by the way. He'll say, congratulations on your job training, Nick, when he was getting trained on the board with Joel. Yeah, Earl can be polite at times, but that was one of the worst I've ever heard from Earl. I guess he doesn't have the sense enough to have a little bit of shame and respect for his fellow man. Speaking of Men's History Month, to bring up the smearing, no evidence, Steele dossier, and the rat, Cohen, whatever his name is, who turned on Trump, betrayed Trump, disgusting person. Anyways, Facebook has a contingency plan. This is a Drudge headline. Far left Drudge? I don't know. Make your own decision, guys. In case Trump attempts to delegitimize election results. They even talked about a kill switch. It's from Drudge and New York Times. Far left failing New York slimes, shared by DNYUZ. Facebook this is a headline from Facebook, or not from Facebook, from the so-called New York Times. Facebook braces itself for Trump to cast doubt on election results. As if that's not exactly what they've been doing about Trump's election, right? Anyways, these liberals, BLM, Black Lives Matter supporters, by the way, from the New York Times to Facebook to everybody, everywhere. Racism is one of the most destructive conspiracy theories. And that is destructive to blacks that they pretend to care about. And it's also destructive to America and whites and everybody. These people, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Lyft, Uber, New York Slimes, Washington Compost, they all support the lies of Black Lives Matter. And they're so-called journalists. Facebook spent years, this is the New York Times writing, preparing to ward off any tampering on its side ahead of November's presidential election because they're being accused of passing off Russian propaganda, and that's how they think that Trump won the election. Ridiculous. Not by being real, because that's what he is. I'm number one on the front page. Wow. X-tagged content on, of course. Nice. Appreciate that, D-Live, you Chinese people. Now the social engineering network, social network, is getting ready in case President Trump interferes once the vote is over. Yeah, you know what? Trump is about the truth, you know, and voter fraud is open and quite possible, and no doubt does happen, right? But employees at Silicon Valley, we're opening the treasure chest, guys. Employees at the Silicon Valley company of Facebook are laying out contingency plans and walking through post-election scenarios that includes attempts by Mr. Trump or his campaign to use the platform to delegitimize the results, people with knowledge of Facebook plans said. Crazy. It's very sick people. Very sick. Because that's exactly what's been happening the past 4 years. They've been pretending to delegitimize the results of President Trump's election. And they have been voter frauding and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And putting out propaganda like Black Lives Matter propaganda and LGBTQIA madness and taking away the morals of people, or advocating that people give up their morals anyways. Facebook is preparing steps should Mr. Trump wrongly claim on the site that he won another 4-year term, said the people who spoke on condition of anonymity, which, you know, anonymous sources always have an agenda, not always known to the so-called journalist who's the contact. Facebook is also working through how it might act if Trump tries to invalidate the results by declaring that the Postal Service lost mail-in ballots or that other groups meddled with the vote, the people said, which it is, those two scenarios are quite possible, but they want to pretend, oh, no, it's very trustworthy. Mark Zuckerberg is the chief executive, right? He founded Facebook, I guess. Some of his lieutenants holding daily meetings about minimizing how the platform can be used to dispute the election. Trump, you know, what's funny about all this is that Trump is very likely going to win. He's fighting to win. He's, you know, he's been kind of more like mainstream so-called conservative in some of his messaging, or at least the campaign's messaging. But when you listen to him talk from the heart, he is solid, pretty much, and fighting to win. And so it's all for naught, right? This whole propaganda article from the New York Slimes. They've discussed in Facebook a kill switch to shut off political advertising after Election Day, since the ads, which Facebook does not police their ads for truthfulness, could also be used to spread misinformation. But New York Times spreads misinformation, Washington Compost, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, leftist misinformation. Sick people. Oh, man, I'm sorry, callers. Oh, we're just about towards the end. You know what? You guys got to call me Monday. Trump is a winner. Winners win, says Louis Louis. I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. But he's right. Trump is a winner. Winners win. Last quick thing. The Skims quote of the day. Dogs are not cuddly toys. A German official on why she is proposing a law to require owners walk their dogs for an hour twice a day. This is going to be for some fit Germans. That's a picture of the level of insanity we're on. We're not having babies, having dogs, and we got to walk them according to a female politician, government official in Germany, right? Crazy. I had to share that with you. Anyways, guys, thehakereport.com for my stuff, jesseleepeterson.com for Jesse's stuff, and from there you can find ways to catch JLP Plays and The Fallen State and Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on the Bond channel and stuff. Okay, guys, take care.